The most devastating tragedies explained in 22 minutes. What's Gen Z's tragedy that we lived through? COVID, Kanye's Twitter post. You know what? That's valid, bro. Yeah, no, that should be listed on atrocities with all these other ones. The TikTok, man. Skibbity toilet. Man, we really got nothing, bro. Like, every generation went through some TikTok. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Bro, I forgot about the Las Vegas shooting. I think it was like 2018. That was actually insane, bro. That was the most insane ever. Holy shit. That was actually so sad. I remember seeing that and I was like, bro, this country's like, that's when I realized, bro, yo, guns in this country is absolutely you feel me? Anyways, let's see this.
The sinking of the RMS Titanic occurred on April 15th, 1912.
It's kind of sad to say, bro, but the Titanic sinking is like a meme now. Like, nobody even cares anymore like that. It's not like listed and like tragedies where people are like, damn, nah, this really hurts my soul and stuff. Like, people will literally make Titanic memes all the time, bro. And the movie didn't help. Like, everybody that was alive at this time, bro, like, even grandparents probably didn't even have their parents alive at this time or whatever. Happened decades ago, we moved on. Yeah, I guess that, you know, that happens with every tragedy and shit. Dude, y'all know in the future, bro, dude, Gen Z always makes jokes about 9/11, this and that, bro. In the future, they're not gonna give a about it. They'll probably joke about it, bro, like when they're like 7 years old now and stuff in school.
The British passenger liner was sunk in the North Atlantic Ocean during its voyage to New York City. The ship, built by the White Star Line, was the largest and most luxurious of its time, and was considered unsinkable due to its advanced safety features, including 16 watertight compartments. However, these compartments did not extend high enough.
That's actually so insane when you see the layers, bro. It'd be crazy to think like humans built this shit. Floor right there, floor right there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 floors. Could you imagine being the workers there, the coal workers, as the ship slowly starts to like go down? And I'm pretty sure the coal workers stayed there to die because like they had pride in that. They wanted people still to have time, so they were just doing it, bro.
Enough to fully prevent flooding in the event of a breach. On the night of April 14th at 11:40 p.m.,
the picture of it does have aura, though. Compared to the ships we have now, it don't even come close.
The Titanic struck an iceberg. This iceberg scraped along the ship's starboard side, creating a series of small punctures across several watertight compartments.
God damn, bro. Yo, cave divers are gonna see that hole and be like...
Although the ship initially appeared stable, it soon became clear that the first 5 compartments were flooding, more than the ship could stay afloat with. Over the next few hours, the Titanic began to sink, and despite distress calls, the nearest ship capable of assisting, the Carpathia, was too far away to arrive in time. The sinking was worsened due to a shortage of lifeboats, as there were only 20-
It's so insane that they didn't think this through. Like, they had such an ego with it that they're like, nah, we only need 50 lifeboats. Like, nah, what's the worst that could happen? Somebody probably said that too. What's the worst that could happen?
On board, which was enough for only half of the passengers and crew, and this was due to outdated seagoing regulations. Additionally, many lifeboats were launched only partially filled, as many people hesitated to leave the ship. Out of approximately 2,224 people on board, only 706 survived, with this disaster claiming the lives of over 1,500.
And didn't like mostly guys like not go in the boats? It was like women and children, but there was like one dude that did. Hey guys, Tom NFG here. You know, only half of you guys are subscribed and even less of you guys have noties on. I hate to be a burden, but you know, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and the little bell next to it. You know, it doesn't take long. I know you can get mixed up in the algorithm and everything. But yeah, also tune into the streams. You know, we have a lot of fun over there. I'm telling you, we have a lot of parties going on over there. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Damn. There was one dude, I think, that like went in the lifeboats and he got hated on for life. Hey, I don't blame him, bro. Hey, nowadays, bro, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I'm in that lifeboat. Dude, it is not the 1910s. Sure, bro, women have been shitting on masculinity for the past like 10 years, so I don't care, man. We're not in that era. I will sit my ass in that lifeboat.
Passengers and crew members, most of them being from the ship's lower class compartments, and also crew who had less access to lifeboats. The sinking of the Titanic remains one of the deadliest tragedies in history that have occurred in the ocean, and it led to many changes in seagoing safety regulations, including requirements for sufficient lifeboats and the establishment of the International Ice Patrol to monitor iceberg threats in the North Atlantic. The Halifax explosion occurred on December 6, 1917 in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and remains one of the most devastating explosions in history.
Looks like
the disaster began when 2 ships collided in the narrow Halifax harbor, the French cargo ship Mont Blanc and the Norwegian ship Emo. The Mont Blanc was loaded with highly volatile materials, including TNT, benzol, and picric acid. As the 2 ships maneuvered through the harbor's narrows, miscommunications and navigational errors led to a collision. The impact ignited the explosions on the Mont Blanc, and the crew, realizing the incoming danger, abandoned the ship, but the burning vessel drifted towards the busy waterfront, drawing in a crowd of onlookers workers unaware
Oh
of the
my
danger.
God.
At 9:04 a.m., the Mont Blanc exploded with catastrophic force. The blast leveled much.
You tell me this is not a nuke? What the f? Yo, I've never heard of this. Even if they were in their houses or something, they weren't gonna survive.
Much of the northern part of Halifax and the neighboring community of Richmond. The explosion released an estimated energy equivalent to 2.9 kilotons of TNT, creating a powerful shockwave that shattered windows as far as 50 miles away and generated a massive tsunami in the harbor. Over 2,000 people were killed, including many children and workers in nearby factories and homes. Approximately 9,000 people were injured, some blinded by flying glass or trapped under debris. The explosion also destroyed 12,000 buildings, leaving thousands of people homeless. Hospitals were overwhelmed, and relief efforts were quickly mobilized from across Canada.
I just know they definitely got fired. Oh man, what do y'all think the punishment the boat workers got for that? 2,000 people, bro. That's the equivalent of like 9/11 bodies. The amount of people like that died in 9/11.
In the United States. The Halifax explosion prompted significant advances in emergency management and disaster response, and it remains a defining moment in the city's history. The Holocaust was the systematic state-sponsored genocide of 6 million Jews by Nazi Germany and its collaborators during World War II. It began with the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party in 1930.
Yo, isn't it crazy to realize like shit like this happened in the past like 100 years? Like the Holocaust, it wasn't even 100 years ago.
Whose anti-Semitic
90 years
ideology
ago.
blamed Jewish people
Or
for
80 years
Germany's
ago.
economic problems and portrayed them as a threat to the Aryan race. After gaining power, the Nazis implemented increasingly oppressive laws, such as the Nuremberg Laws of 1935, which stripped Jews of their rights, and launched a campaign of widespread persecution. The situation worsened after the outbreak of World War II in 1939, when Nazi Germany began its conquest of Europe. Jews in occupied territories were rounded up and forced into ghettos under horrible conditions, and in 1941...
They had ghettos over there? Is ghettos a universal term? I thought ghettos was like something they use for like in like America, like Black America and shit. I didn't know it was like
Nazi
a universal
leaders
term.
initiated the final solution, which was a plan to exterminate the Jewish population. This led to the construction of extermination camps such as Auschwitz, Treblinka, and Sobibor, where millions of Jews were systematically murdered in gas chambers. Aside from Jews, the Nazis targeted other groups that they
I'm
deemed
actually related to
including Romani
Holocaust
people,
survivors.
disabled
Love you, Grandma
individuals,
Bunny.
Slavs, political
Hey, bro. Hope
descendants,
you're doing
and
good, man.
LGBTQ
Or
individuals.
glad you're
The
doing good.
Holocaust brutality extended to mass shootings, death marches, forced labor, starvation, and medical experiments, leaving millions of victims dead or deeply scarred. By the time the Holocaust ended in 1945, with the Allied forces liberating the concentration camps, approximately 6 million Jews, 2/3 of Europe's Jewish population, had been killed. In addition, 5 million
2/3, bro.
non-Jewish victims perished as well. In the Holocaust,
Yo, could you imagine nowadays 2/3 of any population like going away or being eradicated?
remains one of the most horrific atrocities in human history, with the survivors' testimonies serving as a reminder of the dangers of hatred and intolerance. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, the United States dropped the bombs to hasten Japan's surrender and avoid a costly...
Yo, the U.S. really dropped a nuclear bomb. What do y'all think would have happened in World War II if Hiroshima and Nagasaki never happened? Where would we be at? Would it just be? It would be a completely different society.
invasion, as the Pacific War had been prolonged and brutal, with Japan showing no signs
Would
of...
have continued and been worse. Yeah, it definitely would have continued. The war wouldn't have ended. Especially Japan's old imperialism. They would have never stopped.
On August 6th,
That's what I'm saying. Like stuff like this, bro. I'd be so confused why world leaders kinda like tease nukes and wars and stuff. Like, do they not realize wars back then, they lost millions of people? Bro, it's gonna be like over 100 million people lost if it's the next like world war. You're gonna have a large man of humanity just gone. So it's like, why are nukes even being made?
1945, the U.S. dropped an atomic bomb, codenamed Little Boy, on Hiroshima, which was a major Japanese
wonder how they came up with those
military and
names.
industrial hub. The bomb, containing uranium-235, detonated at 8:15 a.m., releasing an explosion equivalent to about 15 kilotons of TNT. The blast obliterated the city, instantly killing an estimated 70 to 80,000 people, with many more dying from injuries and radiation sickness in the days and months that followed, bringing the death toll to over 140,000 by the end of
Insane.
1945. The intense heat and radiation caused horrific burns, while the shockwave leveled buildings, leaving survivors with long-term
This is a nuke back then. I think a nuke nowadays, what do they say? It could take out like the whole state of New York or something.
health effects. 3 days later, on August 9th, the United States dropped a second bomb called Fat Man on Nagasaki, a city with significant industrial importance. This plutonium bomb was even more powerful, with a yield of about 21 kilotons, though the city's mountainous terrain limited the destruction. An estimated 40,000 people were killed instantly, with the total number of deaths reaching around 70,000 by the end of the year. The bombings prompted Japan to surrender on August 15th, 1945, and officially bringing World War II.
Yo, you know what's even crazier, bro? Japan and the United States becoming allies after this. I'm actually like genuinely shocked. Like Japan was like, yeah, we can be like allies and work together and stuff. Bro, if I'm the country leader, I'm sorry, dude, I'm not being friends. Vietnam and US are allies too. Yeah, I mean, I guess like after resolutions and shit, after the fights, people realize, okay, like it's probably better we just work together. And it's crazy too that like Japanese people, well, certain people will like look up to like American culture and like it, and then same thing in America, like will love like Japanese culture and shit. But at this point, bro, it's so old to the new generations that were born after it, like they kind of weren't even born in this time where it happened and stuff, you know. Bro, this shit was going on, bro, when Biden was a baby.
To an end. These events raised ethical debates about the use of nuclear weapons and sparked the Cold War arms race. In total, the two bombings killed over 200,000 people and left lasting scars on Japan's landscape, health, and society. The survivors' suffering and the bombing's global impact continue to influence discussions on war and peace today. The Texas City disaster, which occurred on April 16th, 1947, remains one of the deadliest industrial accidents in United States history. It began when a French cargo ship, the SS Grand Camp, docked in the port of Texas City and caught fire while it was being loaded with ammonium nitrate fertilizer, a highly explosive material commonly used in agriculture. The fire was discovered around 8 a.m., and despite efforts to extinguish it, the situation quickly spiraled out of control. As the fire intensified, the captain ordered the hatches sealed in an attempt to starve the flames of oxygen, but this proved to be ineffective. At 9:12 a.m., the ammonium nitrate ignited, triggering a massive explosion that obliterated the Grand Camp and sent a towering mushroom cloud into the sky, with the blast being heard up to 150 miles away. The explosion unleashed devastation.
Could you imagine too back then? Like not everybody had a car. Dude, you just have no car. You gotta run away from this. I'd be damned.
Shockwaves, destroying nearby buildings, homes, and factories, and the docks were completely leveled, with nearby oil refineries and chemical plants catching fire, worsening the disaster. The explosion also launched flaming debris, including parts of the Grand Camp, into surviving areas, igniting further fires. A second explosion occurred the next day, when another ship, the SS High Flyer, also loaded with ammonium nitrate, detonated, and the combined blast resulted in widespread destruction across Texas City. This disaster killed an estimated 581 people, including firefighters,
I thought it would have been more,
workers, and onlookers, and also injured over 5,000 more. Many of the victims were never identified, and the explosions left thousands of people homeless, with hundreds of buildings being destroyed, and also causing millions of dollars in damage. The Bhopal gas tragedy, one of the world's worst industrial disasters, occurred on the nights of December 2nd to 3rd, 1984, in Bhopal, India. It began at the Union Carbide India Limited pesticide plant, where a highly toxic chemical called methylisocyanate, also known as MIC, was being stored in large quantities for the production of pesticides. Poor maintenance, faulty safety systems, and inadequate training of staff created dangerous conditions at the plants.
See, these are the one places where like you want to pay these people really good. Even think of oil rigs, bro. I'm pretty sure oil rig workers get paid like a lot of money. Because guess what? Nobody wants to do those jobs, and the people that do deserve to get paid them, because like I'm not working that shit, bro. I'm sorry, bro. All right, if some other dude wants to work and get paid like 200,000 a year or something, let him, bro. Shit, he deserves it. I don't care.
On the nights of the disaster, water inadvertently entered a tank containing about 42 tons of MIC, triggering a runaway chemical reaction. The increase in pressure and temperature inside the tank caused a massive leak of MIC gas and other poisonous chemicals. The safety mechanisms designed to neutralize leaks.
Yo, nah, that looks insane, bro. It doesn't even look real. Whole thing is just melted.
Such as refrigeration and scrubbers either malfunctioned or had been turned off to save costs. The toxic gas cloud spread quickly over nearby residential areas where tens of thousands of people were sleeping. Many awoke coughing, choking, and with burning eyes, and panic spread as the gas caused immediate health effects, including nausea, breathlessness, and blindness. The dense slums surrounding the plants were particularly vulnerable, and within hours, thousands of people were dead, and chaos as hospitals were overwhelmed. Official estimates suggest around 3,000 people died within the first few days, while subsequent estimates put the death toll at over 15,000 due to
God damn, bro,
long-term health complications.
Yo, please tell me they got fined or the families got like reparations or something back.
An estimated 500,000 people were exposed to the gas, leading to chronic illnesses, respiratory issues, blindness, and birth defects in the years that followed. The Bhopal gas...
Dude, the people that work these jobs need to get paid. If you don't pay them good, bro, they're not gonna give it a good job. It's just like fast food, bro. You get a burger, it's not gonna be as good, bro, as if you pay for a higher class burger, because, like, you know, the workers actually get paid good there and they would care.
Tragedy sparked widespread outrage and legal battles over corporate responsibility. Union Carbide faced international criticism, but survivors of this tragedy have struggled for decades to obtain adequate compensation in healthcare. The Space Shuttle Challenger disaster occurred on January 28, 1986, when NASA's shuttle just 73 seconds after liftoff, killing all 7 crew members aboard. The launch took place at Kennedy Space Center in Florida and was highly anticipated because it included a schoolteacher who was set to be the first civilian in space. The disaster was caused by the failure of an O-ring, a rubber seal in one of the solid rocket boosters, and the shuttle was launched on a particularly cold morning, with engineers having raised concerns that the low temperatures could affect the O-ring's elasticity. Despite these warnings,
oh my god, they did warn them and they did it anyways. I'm realizing, bro, if I was in any of these situations, bro, I would get the biggest bag and sue the out of them. They literally knew something was gonna happen. They're like, you know what, nah, bro, everybody's hyped up for this shit, bro. All right, let's get it started, man. Let's get it started. Send a spaceship up, man, and we're all gonna be happy.
NASA proceeded with the launch, and
Not
shortly
even the
after
government, just
liftoff
dumbass
at
people.
11:39 a.m., the faulty O-ring failed, allowing hot gases to escape, damaging the external fuel tank. This led to a catastrophic failure as flames burned through the tank, causing the shuttle to break apart in midair. The explosion was broadcast live on television, shocking the world, and all 7 crew members aboard Challenger were killed as the crew cabin plunged into the ocean. The exact moment of death is uncertain, but it is believed that the crew survived the initial breakup and lost consciousness during the descent. The Chernobyl disaster, one of the worst nuclear accidents in history, occurred on April 26, 1986 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Pripyat, Ukraine.
The craziest thing about Chernobyl, bro, was seeing that one picture of the, what do they call it, the Bigfoot? The fact that the radiation was so bad, you could see it in the picture. Like, the radiation messed up the camera. That single-handedly is the most radioactive thing on Earth.
During a late-night safety test on reactor number 4, which simulated a power outage to test the reactor's emergency systems. However, a combination of operator error and fundamental design flaws in the reactor led to a catastrophic failure. During the test, the reactor's power output dropped to near zero, and an attempt to recover it led to instability. Operators disabled critical safety systems, and the reactor went out of control. A sudden power surge caused an explosion in the reactor core, blowing off the roof of the building and releasing massive amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere. Fires broke out and radiation spread.
Yo, the gas mask. What? Might be one of the most, what do they call it? Scariest pictures without context or something like that.
Across Europe, particularly affecting Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia. The explosion immediately killed 2 plant workers, and in the days that followed, 28 emergency workers, including firefighters, died from acute radiation sickness after being exposed to extremely high doses while trying to contain the disaster. In total, it is estimated that about 50 direct deaths occurred due to the explosion in radiation. However, the long-term effects were far more severe. Tens of thousands of people were evacuated from the surrounding areas, and the exclusion zone around Chernobyl remains uninhabited to this day. The radiation exposure has been linked to thousands of
wonder if those workers ever got paid any compensation for it. Probably not.
Cases of cancer, particularly thyroid cancer and other long-term health issues. Estimates suggest that the eventual death toll from radiation exposure could range from 4,000 to tens of thousands over the coming decades. The Columbine High School shooting, one of the deadliest school shootings in the United States history, took place on April 20th, 1999.
Yo, it's sad to know about Columbine too. All these fucking incel niggas are all inspired off the shooters. Like, this was the start of, you know what I'm saying, the whole American school shooter shit. It's because of them. Guns or serious guns or whatever they use, bro, they were in America for like 40 years or 50. Like, they were in America for a while. And then this happened, and then all of a sudden, bro, it just started to boost up. Granted, it wasn't as accessible, I guess, to get guns back then, but it kind of was. Honestly, I feel like the gun laws was more lax back then, if anything. There's way more gun checks and stuff like that in gun laws. And back then, they didn't have it, and it was safer, which is funny. Now, the amount of, like, documentaries, though, that made me watch to school about this is crazy. Like, I remember I watched this one movie with, like, this, it was like a recreation. Dude, it is the scariest shit I've ever seen.
In Littleton, Colorado, 2 senior students, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, carried out a carefully planned attack that shocked the nation. Harris and Klebold had been planning the attack for over a year, amassing firearms, homemade bombs, and ammunition. On the morning of the attack, they planted bombs in the school's cafeteria, intending for them to explode and cause—
And that's the crazy part. The bombs didn't go off. Dude, if they went off, it would have been way, way worse.
Mass casualties. When the bombs failed to detonate, they entered the school armed with semi-automatic weapons and began shooting indiscriminately. The attack started at approximately 11:19 a.m. as Harris and Klebold—
Is this school still open? They probably have like crazy security. Public schools considered demolishing Columbine High School. Yo, there's no way if I go to Columbine High School, I'm gonna be able to like be in that school without being worried. Like genuinely, dude, I'm surprised students even go there still. They probably have like crazy security, right? I'm assuming.
Opened fire on students outside the school before moving inside. They roamed the halls and library, shooting at anyone they encountered, laughing and taunting their victims. The pair also engaged in a brief gunfight with the police, who had quickly arrived on the scene. The shooting spree lasted about 47 minutes, after which Harris and Klebold retreated to the library and committed suicide. In total, 12 students and 1 teacher were killed, and 21 others were injured by gunfire. Many more suffered from psychological trauma, and the Columbine shooting had a profound impact on the United States, leading to debates on gun control, school security, and the influence of violent media. It also sparked changes in how law enforcement responds to active shooter situations, and many survivors of this tragedy continue to advocate for stronger measures to prevent similar disasters. The tragedy of 9/11, occurring on September 11th, 2001, was a series of coordinated terrorist attacks carried out by the extremist group Al-Qaeda against the United States. It began with the hijacking of 4 commercial airlines by 19 terrorists, and at 8:46 a.m., American Airlines...
Bro, this must have been so wild to watch like live. Like I just remember when I was younger learning about it in school, and I asked my parents like where they were when this happened. It's just like everybody remembers exactly where they were.
It's Flight 11, a
Everybody
Boeing
knows.
767, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
Like you literally just woke up one day, bro, and then you just realized like some terrorists are trying to like bomb a building in the United States.
New York City. Just
Or not
17
bomb, to demolish.
minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175, another Boeing 767, struck the South Tower, and both buildings were severely damaged, with fires igniting on multiple floors. The attacks continued when American Airlines Flight 77, a Boeing 757, crashed into the Pentagon at 9:37 a.m. The fourth hijacked plane, United Airlines Flight 93, was headed towards Washington, D.C., but passengers, aware of the earlier attacks, attempted to overcome the hijackers. The plane ultimately crashed into a field near Sharksville,
Nah, shout out to them though, bro.
Pennsylvania, at 10:03 a.m. It is believed that the hijackers intended to target either the White House or the U.S. Capitol. At 9:59 a.m.
Okay, see, I'm pretty sure the White House has like crazy anti-aircraft security. Like they say if you live around DC, like it's the most strongest like 50 miles to ever live around, because like you don't think the US government has prepared around where the president lives? Bro, the White House has like snipers and guns like all over the building and stuff.
The South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed, followed by the North Tower at 10:28 a.m. The collapse of both towers caused massive destruction, including damage to surrounding buildings, and the eventual collapse of the World Trade Center complex. The attacks resulted in the deaths of 2,977 people, including 246 on the 4 planes, 2,606 in the World Trade Center and surrounding areas, and 125 at the Pentagon. Thousands more were injured, and the aftermath led a profound impact on global security policies and led to the U.S. War on Terror, which included the invasion of Afghanistan. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill was one of the worst environmental disasters in U.S. history. It began on April 20th, 2000, when a blowout occurred on the Deepwater Horizon oil rig, which was drilling an exploratory well in the Gulf of Mexico. Owned by Transocean and leased by BP, the rig was situated about 41 miles off the coast of Louisiana.
Oh
the
my
blowout
God.
was caused by a surge of natural gas, which blasted through a concrete core that had been recently placed to seal the well. This gas traveled up the drilling pipe and ignited, leading to a massive explosion on the platform.
Imagine just being in the ocean that day, swimming. You were just taking a nice swim, and after that you wake up and there's oil filling your lungs.
The explosion killed 11 workers on the rig and injured 17 others, and the rig burned for 2 days before sinking into the Gulf. Following the rig's collapse, the damaged wellhead continued to spew oil into the ocean
Holy
for 87
shit.
days before it was successfully capped. By that time, it is
This single-handedly has probably caused more pollution in the ocean than anybody on Earth right now could do.
estimated that 210
Off of
million
this.
gallons of crude oil had been released into the Gulf of Mexico. The spill caused widespread environmental damage, devastating
Actually, correct that name. Okay, there's a new name for it. We Americans aren't happy that you called it I'm kidding.
oceanic ecosystems,
It will always be the Gulf of
harming
Mexico to me.
wildlife, and polluting coastlines across 5 states. The region's fishing and tourism industries also suffered severe economic losses, and in response to this disaster, BP and the United States government initiated a massive cleanup effort involving skimming, controlled burns, and the use of chemicals to break up the oil. In the aftermath, BP and its partners faced multiple lawsuits, and BP paid billions in fines, penalties, and
Yo, I low-key don't see that gas station anymore. Does this gas station still exist? I swear when I was younger, I used to see it a lot. I don't see it anymore.
And settlements. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster occurred on March 11th, 2011, following a massive earthquake off the coast of Japan. The magnitude 9.0 earthquake, the most powerful ever recorded in Japan, triggered a series of large tsunami waves, some reaching up to 40 meters.
So, bro, we live in a time too where this could happen at any point. And like, well, obviously a nation that lives like near something like this. Dude, I hope governments are prepared if like they live near a place like this and it's like there's a possibility, because you never know with the environment nowadays.
And heights. These waves overwhelmed the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant located in the Fukushima prefecture, operated by the Tokyo Electric Power Company. The tsunami flooded the plant, knocking out its power supply and disabling its cooling systems, which were essential for preventing overheating in the nuclear reactors. Without cooling, the reactors began to overheat, leading to 3 nuclear meltdowns over the next few days. Hydrogen gas built up in the reactor buildings, resulting in explosions that released radioactive materials into the air. The surrounding area became heavily contaminated, forcing the evacuation of over 150,000 people, and although there were no direct deaths from the radiation exposure in the immediate aftermath, the disaster's long-term health impacts are still being studied. However, it did cause stress-related deaths, especially among the elderly, due to the evacuation and subsequent displacement. Estimates suggest that around 1,600 people died from these indirect causes. The release of radioactive material also contaminated land, water, and food supplies, and the government designated
I wonder if everybody around there has to move away to like another place, because there's no way you could drink any of the water around there or anything. I mean, maybe you're gonna have to live like Flint, Michigan though, which is like you're just gonna have to buy water bottle cases, shower with
exclusion zone around the plants. The cleanup process is ongoing and expected to take multiple decades, with significant challenges in decontaminating the reactors and storing radioactive waste. In the aftermath, the disaster prompted global scrutiny of nuclear safety, leading to reactor shutdowns and revised safety protocols in many countries. In Japan, the Fukushima disaster severely undermined public trust in nuclear energy and led to the temporary shutdown of all nuclear plants in the country. The Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting occurred on December 14th, 2012 in Newtown, Connecticut.
This in our lifetime too. I remember this.
It remains one of the deadliest mass shootings in United States history. The tragedy began when Adam Lanza, a 20-year-old
bro, holy shit. Holy fuck, bro. If there was no signs with this dude, then no shooters had a sign. Like, these eyes, man. Like, this is literally demonic eyes.
Local resident shot and killed his mother at their home before driving to Sandy Hook Elementary School. Armed with an assault rifle and other firearms, Lanza forced his way into the school by shooting through a glass window near the entrance. Once inside, Lanza opened fire on students and staff, and in the span of just 5 minutes, he killed 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7.
I remember my parents were like extra scared at the time because I was in elementary school. I'm pretty sure me and my brother, he was just entering middle school. I don't know, but like we were literally in this age range, bro. My parents were like genuinely scared something was gonna happen. Bro, it was so crazy because after I think Sandy Hook, they stopped playing with this shit. Like there was a shooting that happened in the county I was in, right? This was like when I was, I think in 3rd or 4th grade, but it was all the way on the other side, like miles away from my school, like not even close, but like they took all the students out. Like they said like, nah, we're not playing with this shit. Like nowadays, bro, they don't know. Like it could be a setup. The person could hit the next school or something.
And along with 6 adult staff members. The staff included teachers and the principal who tried to protect the children, and in the chaos, some children and teachers managed to hide, preventing further casualties. Lanza ended the massacre by taking his own life with a self-inflicted gunshot when police arrived at the scene.
And I hate that too about these mass shooters, bro. Bro, I just wish I could fucking go to hell, pull them out, bro, and just torture them, bro, for days. These niggas literally do this shit, bro, and then end their lives. Oh my god, bro. Dude, it pisses me off so much. I hate thinking about it. Like, losers, bro. Wish these people could just be put on public display, bro, just be humiliated for the rest of their life.
The shooting sent shockwaves across the country, igniting a fierce debate over gun control and school safety. It also led to widespread calls for legislative reform to prevent similar tragedies. In the aftermath, President Barack Obama and other political leaders pushed.
See, I think no matter what, bro, with the whole situation about gun control, this and that, like no matter what, whether you like it or not, guns is something written in the Constitution of America, like straight up, so it's never gonna go away. There's never gonna be a moment where it goes away, but I think there should be like reform. Like that's a clear obvious thing. Like you should have to get a background check. That should be some obvious shit. You should have to get a background check, like multiple, make sure you're mentally sane and stuff like that. But then again, also with that, there's people that are like just buy it illegally, so that doesn't really matter. Like that's the only way it should straight up operate. And like the problem is in America and other states, some states it depends on it, like they're loose with it. Like I think Texas is pretty loose. They don't give a I think I literally could just show my ID now where I live and just like get a gun. Like I'm pretty sure I was at Walmart because I never experienced this when I lived in Maryland, right? A more like democratic state. But I was at Walmart and they just had the guns there, like locked in a case. I guess I could just go there with an ID and like I don't even think I need a background check. I could just buy it. It's like, is that not scary, bro? Dude, what the f if I'm somebody that's like mentally ill? That's like, let me get one.
For stricter gun control measures, including background checks and bans on assault weapons. However, significant national legislation failed to pass, although some states implemented tighter gun laws. The Sandy Hook shooting had a profound and lasting impact on American society, especially in how schools approach security and how to properly prepare for an emergency like this. The victims are remembered annually, and the Sandy Hook Promise Foundation was created to advocate for gun violence prevention. The Boston Marathon bombing took place on April 15th, 2013, during the annual Boston Marathon. 2 homemade bombs.
These people that commit these events always do it at like the most like happiest places too. Bruh, niggas was just going on a run that day. They were just having a fun run, and I'm pretty sure these probably help like charities and stuff.
Detonated near the finish line, causing widespread devastation. The bombs, made from pressure cookers filled with shrapnel, exploded about 12 seconds apart in the crowded spectator area, killing 3 people and injuring over 260 others. Many of the injured suffered severe wounds, with several people requiring amputations. The perpetrators were later identified as 2 brothers, ethnic Chechens who had lived in the United States for several years. The bombing triggered a massive manhunt.
Yo, and y'all know what I hate, dude? Bro, the worst thing ever is having a crime like this, and then like, you know what they're gonna say forever? It's the Arabs, bro. I hate when it's a stereotypical looking person of a race that's related. Like anytime there's some type of bombing crime, bro, and it's somebody that's of Arab descent, Middle East, Muslim, whatever, like, bro, the media, specific sectors of the political section always go crazy. Like, oh, look at this, bro. This is why we shouldn't allow them in the country, this and that. I hate it, bro. It f***ing sucks to see. Like, even, dude, when I see a black school shooter, I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, it's over for us, bro. I'm like, we about to get hounded for the next, like, 2 years. It's so annoying because it just pushes people's stereotypes and shit. They always bring it up, well, I mean, look what these people did. Look what they did, though. It's definitely gonna be all of them now. Yeah, shut up, bro.
Ethnic Chechens who had lived in the United States for several years. The bombing triggered a massive manhunt as law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and local police, searched for the attackers. A breakthrough came on April 18th when the 2 brothers killed a police officer during their escape attempt. They later carjacked a vehicle, leading police on a high-speed chase and engaging in a shootout in the Boston suburb of Watertown. During the confrontation, one of the brothers were killed, but the other managed to escape. A citywide lockdown followed, and on April 19th, the surviving brother was found hiding in a boat in a Watertown backyard and was arrested. He was later convicted on multiple charges, including using a weapon of mass destruction, and was sentenced to death. The bombing shocked the nation and raised concerns about domestic terrorism, and the attack also led to
Is that dude still alive? I don't know why. For some reason, the death row takes forever. Okay, this is an obvious case. He's still alive? Is that gonna pop up with this guy that, like, it was an accident or something, or there was a little mistake? Everybody knew he did it. Like, it was obvious evidence. So, like, why don't they just do this after, like, a year?
Enhanced security measures at large public events. The Las Vegas shooting, also known as the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting, occurred on October 1st, 2017, and remains one of the deadliest mass shootings in United States history. The massacre took place during a country music festival on the Las Vegas Strip with over 22,000 attendees. The shooter, a 64-year-old man from Nevada, opened fire from the 32nd floor on the—
Bro, the crazy thing learning about this, watching videos about this and stuff, is realizing that the guy was just like never mentally insane or something. He never showed any signs, like unlike a lot of people. He was just like some dude that worked a job, and then like when they try to talk to, I think, what is it, his spouse or parents, I don't know who, they were all like, what? No, he was always a normal guy. Like there was no signs. There's people out there that you could never, like, you never know, bro, that would just do some shit like this, and you would never ever suspect it.
Mandalay Bay Hotel. It set up an arsenal of firearms. The shooter had checked into the hotel several days earlier, bringing with him 23 guns, many of which were equipped with bump stocks, devices that allow semi-automatic weapons to fire more rapidly. At approximately 10:05 p.m., during singer Jason Aldean's performance, the shooter began firing into the crowded festival grounds below, unleashing more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition. The shooting lasted for about 10 minutes, as panic—
1,000 rounds, bro. That's how fast guns are nowadays. That's not even the fastest. If he was just going automatically, he probably would have let off like 10,000.
Tried to flee the scene. In total,
his father was on the FBI's most wanted, but like still, like from what I've heard about him as a person, like he never gave off any signs that he was like his father or psychotic.
58 people were killed in the attack, attack, and over 850 others were injured, either by gunfire or in the chaos that ensued. The shooter's motivations remain unclear, as he left no manifesto or clear explanation for his actions, and despite extensive investigations by the FBI and local authorities, no conclusive motive was determined. After the shooting, he took his own life before law enforcement breached the hotel room, and this shooting renewed debates over gun control, particularly the use of bump stocks, which were subsequently banned by the Trump administration in 2018.
He banned it? I'm surprised. Well, I mean, okay, something like this, bro, I'm gonna be honest, like, you kind of have to as a politician. Like, you know how much people would be looking at Trump like, yo, what the f, bro? You gonna let people keep it? Bro, there is no need for a human to need that. Like, why would a regular human being, even if you like guns and shit, their automatic guns are already fast. Why would you need a mob like that?
In the aftermath, the Las Vegas community came together under the slogan Vegas Strong to support the victims, their families, and the survivors of this horrific attack. Thank you very much for watching this video, and
yo, interesting video, man. You know, it's good to learn shit like that. I mean, not learn. I basically knew a lot of them, to be honest. Like, I think most of us knew a lot of them. And it's crazy to know there's probably way more that could be on this too. I always hate learning, or just, you know what I'm saying, learning about old tragedies, because I always think like, what's the next gonna be? I hate thinking about shit like that though, because like you never want to think about something like that. But yeah, if you're watching on the tube, make sure to join the Discord and watch the streams.
Subscribe to Tommy and FG.